What is this? Episode
17.
Episode 17 of the Rodcast. A-Rod.
That man Jay.
And our special guest today.
What's up? I'm Ian.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm excited to have you, bro. I'm excited to have you on the Rodcast episode 17.
17.
Damn.
It's a Dennis Schroeder episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he 17?
Yeah.
Or Havlicek?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Not a lot of 17s in
Andrew
Andrew Bynum.
Stojakovic.
He was 16.
Oh, fuck. That looks bad.
Andrew
Lin.
Bynum episode.
Jeremy Lin.
Jeremy
There
Lin.
we go.
That's right. I like that. Nick's
Oh.
Lin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's killing in China, too.
Oh, he's still hooping?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, he's overseas now, but he's cooking. Doing pretty good.
I like it.
He would actually take really well to today's game if he was born like 5-10 years later, because he's like big point guard, pick and roll reads, like decent jumper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The little Knicks run he had was crazy.
Yeah.
That was the time.
That was a great time. I was very excited about that. But,
You thought your boy Melo was going to...
man, either way, they had a good season.
Yeah.
Still, they had a good season.
Yeah. But shoot, let's get on into it. Today we're going to talk about Mr. Ian's story, just get to know who he is and, you know, his cool career you got going on. To be honest, I'm pretty jealous.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
So
been fun,
it's been awesome. I mean, I've known you for a good, I'd say like 2-3 years now.
yeah, something like that.
And it's been cool, like seeing your journey. Like, I mean, I know I get to, I mean, you can get into that when we talk about it, but I just know from your stories, I'm like, damn, this dude's literally like living a movie type shit. Like he gets to be like in the basketball culture and really like endure it and get to tell a story. And, you know,
It's a blast, man. Shoot, it's been fun.
so yeah, I mean, just tell us about yourself, your upbringings, all that fun stuff, how you got into what you're in now, and just that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, from the Lansing area, Michigan, from a city called Okemos, and grew up there. Grew up playing football and basketball and a little bit of lacrosse. Went to Michigan State. Got an internship down here for a website called Nice Kicks, and yeah, that's what brought me here. So yeah, thank God they liked my writing. You know, made the move, and I'm work for a company called Boardroom now. So just riding. That's like the short story. The irony is if I was typing, it'd be way too long, and nobody want to read all of it. But
And Boardroom's involved with Kevin Durant, right?
yeah. So Kevin Durant and his business partner Rich Kleiman
Okay.
started it. So it's like basically, you know, because it precedes me. But yeah, it was like a ESPN Plus series where it was kind of like almost like like the easy comp is the shop in terms of like a shop being a barber shop setting, kind of like talking about stuff there, where the boardroom, obviously a boardroom setting, and kind of like talking about things in a business sense. And yeah, they rolled it off into its own website and media company, and been loving it.
Damn. And how long have you been on that?
Shoot, full time. It'll be 2 years in December.
Okay.
Full time, but like about 2.5 with like freelance before and all that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what were you kind of doing before you got in touch with Rich and KD and all that kind of stuff?
Shoot, so I lost my job at Nice Kicks like right before the pandemic, which was huge. Honestly, a huge blessing because it gave me like a jump on everybody else, you know, like scrambling and stuff like that. And like I was like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna like hoop during the day. I'd had a job for like 10 years straight or whatever. And then my dad was like, man, you know, you should probably get on like the job hunt sooner than later, like right away. Cause like, you know,
during that time, it was just, you didn't know what was going to happen, the next move at all.
for sure. And yeah, like, so for me, this was like January 2020. So like it was before, you know, like things were starting to bubble about, you know, like things going on or changing. But yeah, I mean, shout out to my dad. He was like, hey, I know you got a lot of contacts, you know, and stuff like that. And like, you know, take your time. And he's like, man, you might want to get on it right away. Cause like, you know, 1-2 weekends out with the buddies. And then, you know, you're kind of, you know, in hangover phase or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it might be a little harder to hop back on that horse. So yeah, you know, I put out a bunch of basically feelers, and yeah, I mean, I was writing some for Complex. My buddy Brendan Dunn got me some work there. Nick DePaula put me in touch with Boardroom. And then I was doing some stuff with this guy, Marco Negrete. So I was writing for Jordan Brand. So like did a bunch of writing for them, like for The Last Dance and stuff. Like not like the actual like documentary
but still
itself,
just being
but
in some type of involvement.
yeah. And I mean, that was just obviously a wild thing where you're like, oh, no worries. Like, you know, I've never had to write anything where like you write it and then it's like, all right, like Michael Jordan's like team has to go over it.
Yeah.
Not like MJ's, like sitting down with it. I would doubt it, and like the NBA. So like, different kind of levels with that. I was working with this company, Cali Barbecue, that whatchamacallit, it's like a restaurant in California, and like writing about like the food industry, and like I always say,
Damn.
I can't even
You're
spell
everywhere.
restaurant. Yeah, so I was just like freelancing everywhere, just kind of like getting stuff, getting my feet wet. And I mean, it's funny, like I guess if there's like any sort of like lesson from that, it's that like the things that you didn't think you would do, or like the things that don't make sense end up making the most sense. Because like if it wasn't for Cali Barbecue, like my whole job was like listening to like podcasts about like our host Sean Walchef, he would talk about like to different people in like the food industry. Mm-hmm. So first when I'm listening, I'm like writing everything, transcribing. I was like, all right, well, like if I just like to eat, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like like in the weeds with stuff like that. Like if I just kind of listen to this passively, and all right, what hops out to me? Well, like, all right, boom, that's gonna be the quote. That's gonna really make this a story and stuff like that. So like that's definitely served me well in terms of like Boardroom. Yeah. Writing about stuff from like a business sense or things of that lens. And then even before that, I couldn't get a job at Foot Locker, back home, but I'm working bagging groceries, and it's like, all right, well, you're bagging groceries, you're talking to any walk of life. So it's like, you kind of get that like thinking on your feet, making conversations, which like helps with interviews, Shoot, even getting cut from the basketball team growing up, like basketball was never a job. Yeah. So this is always fun for me. You know what I mean? Like, not that I don't like enjoy it or take it seriously. Yeah. But like all those kind of things like that, you're like, yo, like how the hell did I get cut? Or like, why won't Finish Line hire me? You know what I mean? Or like, how do I not have, a job that I've had for 10 years? Like thank God it all worked out.
I mean, and that's just from just hearing that mindset you had, that's like that's like the cliche mindset you try to tell someone, like they want to be like that, but it's hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like whoever you got that from, like that's really a blessing type. It's just to really like stay in that zone and say like, hey, this happened for a reason, but something bigger is going to happen for me now. Yeah. Like
it's just that grind mentality that you have, that you kind of instilled in yourself. Is
Midwest work ethic. Yeah. You know about it. Yeah. And I mean, and when it's funny too, because I'm sure, it'd be my parents, my grandparents who put that in me. And I'm sure if you ask them, they probably wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it was Ian was super stoked when he got cut from the team, or Dick's Sporting Goods wouldn't hire him, you know what I mean, or lost the job. But like, yeah, I think there's, and like I said, it's easier to say that shit when stuff's going well, you know what I mean. But like, I do think that it's like, I mean, you guys know, like playing ball, it's like some games you're going to be the best player on the court. Some games you're going to be the 10th best player. And it's like, all right, like,
how do you adapt?
Yeah. How do you adapt? Yeah. You're like, yo, am I Steph today or am I Seth? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
adversity.
Yeah, exactly. So like just kind of getting in where you fit in and making the most of it. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Damn.
I would have never thought like that whole, the writing process would be that kind of like complex. Like you have to get in touch with all these companies and like kind of just, put it all out there, if you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it's funny, even though I'd been writing for like 10 plus years once I became freelance, I had no idea like really how to pitch anything. Yeah. Or like what I would charge for a word count or anything like that. Cause I mean, I was so blessed and nice kicks that it's like, they pretty much let me roll the ball out and play. So like if I had an idea, they're like, yeah, like 9 times out of 10 they're with it. So it was like, just do it,
that freedom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it wasn't like I had to like, throw stuff up a bunch of like chain of commands per se. And yeah, then like once I was freelance, I was like, like if you're and also too, I always had a salary as a writer, which is a real rarity. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I got pretty blessed early on, but then when it's like, okay, like, yeah, I have no idea what to charge for like one story. You know what I mean? Like, and you figure it out.
Just that humbleness.
Yeah, you just don't know. You know what I mean? But yeah, thank God it worked out. I probably wouldn't be at Boardroom today, or I probably wouldn't be married either. You know what I mean? I'd have been working double time during the pandemic, so it gave us, me and my wife, Erin, like a chance to get to know each other. So
Yeah.
it worked out.
What got you into writing?
That's a good question. I mean, probably just growing up reading Slam,
Yeah.
like Slam, Kicks, Double XL, Complex. Even it's funny too. So my mom's a lawyer, and I remember like when I'd go to the office with her on the weekend or whatever when I was a little kid, the bathroom there was just like stocked with magazines. And granted, it's like Newsweek or like Forbes or some stuff that like 8-year-old ain't really gonna be that interested in. Maybe there's Sports Illustrated in there, but I just, we got to go to the bathroom or whatever, just pull up all the magazines and be, reading stuff. And I think things like that give you at least, one, you learn at a young age. I would say, man, people care more about the pictures or what somebody else is saying than anything I'm going to say. Yeah. So, I always think about the layout, like the title, the imagery and stuff like that. And then, hopefully not mess it up, when I start doing my thing.
So when you write for, Boardroom or any other companies you kind of work for, what goes through your mind? Like, how does that?
Yeah. What gets you in your zone?
What gets you like, oh, like I'm gonna write this, or like an idea just strikes you and just like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Like,
man, that's a great question. I mean, the gift and the curse is like I've always got ideas for like stories or concepts of stories or like things that would be cool, but like the hardest thing is like reeling it in, you know what I mean, and making sure that it's like, shoot, like y'all know, like if unless it's like just somebody you absolutely love, like if you see like a podcast is like 30 minutes or it's like 4 hours, like if it's 4 hours, it better be like the most fire person,
exactly,
you know what I mean, like ever talking, and you're all for it, you know what I mean, like if like like Jay Wheeler, Skip to Malou was like on, Jason was on All the Smoke, but or something like that, or on Knuckleheads, it's like, yo, you give me 10 hours of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm here for it. But, I think my same approach has just been like, you always do like something, you know what I mean? Like, you might not know the opening that's going to like get people's attention. Like I always think like Rick Ross has like the best like opening lines of verses where like, wait, you just said that? And then you're like kind of drawn in. Not that it's, like that level or whatever, but it's like, okay, like I can't think of any words. Well, I'm going to go through Getty Images, which is like the big, like, every NBA concert photo like ever, and just like look for the best pictures. And then
that will bring out the story.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or it's like, oh, like there are these 3 lines that might be cool. Well, I'm just going to like write them down and then I'll get back to them. Or like hear all the quotes. And then it's kind of almost like a math equation. Like,
where to put what.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like it's very rarely like linear. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like, I remember when like, Tracy McGrady, like announced at some conference that, he's probably going to leave Adidas. And like he had like a lifetime deal and like was their guy. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of like, oh, like I know a decent amount of his history, like with, signing with Sonny Vaccaro, like, to Adidas and, all the shoes that came out because I was that age. So like that was this kind of like stream of conscience, like everything at once. Then it's like, oh, I know when Gil was on All the Smoke, like he talked about when they do the Adidas press trips and how it's like, yo, we stopped when Tracy said stop. Like he just had that much juice. So like,
damn,
that's a random example of, sometimes it's just like, oh, I didn't know I had all this information in my head and it just like pours out and you didn't know it was going to happen. But shoot, like the other day I was working on a story. Actually, the first part will go this weekend, but it's like talk to David Falk, Michael Jordan's agent.
Okay.
Yeah, which was real cool and was like, funny story behind that is I didn't think he was going to call. And then I was like out to dinner with my wife. I was like, oh shoot, I got to take that. Yeah, I got to take this, babe. Like, but awesome guy.
She's probably like, who is it? Like what, who's so important?
And I just like randomly, like I had his number, but I saved it beforehand just to, make sure, and I was like, oh shoot, like, all right, pizza's gonna have to wait. But where we basically, talked about a variety of things, but like the main one about this one is like the Last Dance season and how, like, in my opinion, how I saw it is that Michael knew it was going to be probably his last year in Chicago. And it's like, all right, let's like turn everything up a notch so that, coming out of basketball, I'm going to launch Jordan Brand the last year I'm in the NBA.
Yeah.
So there's some momentum. So it's not just like a legacy line, where like I've got the cologne. I'm going to really ramp that up and do all the late night talk shows and, press it and stuff like that. And he got a $33.1 million deal his last season in Chicago. For a single season, that didn't get topped till 20 years later, till Steph.
Wow.
Damn. And the salary cap went up 5 times.
What was Steph's, like 40, right? Or
now
that?
Now he's up there, but I think at the time it was like 34, or something like that.
That was like a max kind of deal.
Yeah.
In the day.
And I mean, it's funny because there are some parallels to like Steph and Mike where they, because of long-term contracts prior, were maybe like underpaid, in terms of on court or what. In like the flip side is that a lot of the teams, have real good rosters and win and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's so. I say that all to say is like that's one where like I was like working out until like 8 p.m. the other night just because was getting caught up with other things. Then I give it to my editor and Russ was like, "Yeah, it should probably be 2 stores instead of 1." You know what I mean? This is a little bit too much to read. So sometimes it gets diced up different, But it just all depends.
Can you imagine that though? Like what Jordan was making, like what money was back then compared to it is now. Like obviously millions doesn't feel like a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
Like back then, I feel like he could have bought like just everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that is a wild thing that just like being a millionaire like seemed super. And I mean, I'm not saying it's good, bad, and different, but like a millionaire was like you just didn't even know what that really was in real life or see it. And now like, you could buy the right house at the right time in Austin and become a millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because you bought a house before an area popped or whatever. Kyle, shoot, you never know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Wembanyama making San Antonio boom and Austin keep growing. Like it could be like, I bought a house for $200,000 in Kyle.
Cali prices.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and 2023, and then in 2030, it's $1 million house. Like you never know, and then you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that movie Air?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I didn't get to.
Well, it basically it's a movie about Michael Jordan when he's like before he signs with Nike.
Yeah.
And like he was really trying to go to Adidas, but it's kind of interesting because his mom was like basically his
checking everything.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, that woman is a smart woman.
Wow.
Smart. Like the whole like process of her actually going in and like talking to the CEOs and all the marketing developers and stuff like that. She was kind of noticing because when Nike first talked to her, he was kind of like making everything pretty much real. You know what I'm saying? Because like obviously everybody wants Michael Jordan to come onto their brand, and they're kind of like selling with all the numbers and the hype and all that kind of stuff. But in terms with Nike, the difference was everything just came organically.
Yeah.
And they were more focused on, how are they going to develop Michael? Are they going to actually treat him like he's as a person instead of just like something they can just sell and put on shelves? So like his first deal was only like $250,000, right?
Yeah, I mean there's varying reports, but either 250 or 500, depending who you hear it from. And I know Falk said that number is not entirely right, but
this was at NC though, right? North Carolina.
No,
or
so
like when he got drafted.
When he got drafted. Yeah, so
okay.
His initial Nike deal, but it had a royalty baked in, and again, that's another thing you'll hear. Different numbers of multiple millions of how many Air Jordans sold in '85, but enough to have him pretty set.
Yeah, because they only give him like. Well, in the movie, it says he got $250,000. He got a new Mercedes, and like his mom made sure that all the shoes that they made about him, he got like a percentage of every sale.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that part.
So that's huge, especially what it is now, like how much his shoes go for. So he's getting like, if you buy in the resale market now, like if you buy a pair of Jordans for like $1,000. He's probably getting like 700 of that or something like that.
So he doesn't get any kickback on resale stuff. Although I will say that like that's a good example though. So say like like the Air Jordan 1 still probably of the all 38 now. You know what I mean? Like the hottest one. So like when the Air Jordan 1 released in '85, obviously inflation and whatever, but like that's a $65 retail shoe.
Damn.
Now the Air Jordan 1 is, usually like $190 for like the high top retail. So I think he gets either 2.5 or 5% on each shoe. I forget, because there was talk about it like when Kanye was doing the whole Adidas stuff that like he actually had a pretty comparable royalty. But I say that all to say is like you said, like if that Air Jordan 1 that costs $190 is selling for $1,000 on StockX or Flight Club or wherever else, it's easy for, Jordan Brand to be like, okay, well, we can move up the MSRP, the retail price.
That makes sense.
To 210, you know what I mean? And ain't nobody really going to buck, because like they see it as this investment, right? So with that, Mike's royalty goes up. They say, damn, Jordan Brand will probably do $6 billion in sales this year.
Damn.
And just because they're releasing so many new like remakes, and it's going to be exciting.
He's probably really happy right now.
I would be.
Yeah, they might. I think they're about to become the second biggest shoe brand in America to Nike.
Oh damn!
So like when you consider like Adidas, New Balance, Reebok, On and Hoka, taking off and stuff like that. Like
didn't Kyrie
that's
just
pretty
sign
nuts.
with
Anta? Yeah.
Who else is with them? Is Clay with them?
Clay's with Anta. Gordon Hayward
Was
Rondo used to be Kevin
Crawford?
Jamal Crawford?
Yeah.
With,
Who was he with?
Brand Black.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted
his shoes were
That was a good looking shoe.
I wanted his shoe so bad, bro.
I wanted the Way of Wade's. Those.
Those
are
are
nice.
Yeah, those are sweet.
Yeah, those are nice.
I don't know. Don't quote me on it, but I think Anta might have just brought over the person who designed the Way of Wade stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, probably a good looking Kyrie shoe coming out. We'll see.
Did you see what he had on? He had a pair.
Yeah. It was like all black.
Yeah, those were actually
pretty
tough.
sweet. Yeah.
Simple. I mean, I've always loved Kyrie's in general. Like, I feel like he had a simple, just a simple shoe type. And because me, I like all my shoes plain, like plain black, plain white. But he puts his color in here and there. But I'm excited to see what he does with this new company. It's cool that both sides are helping each other. But it's cool to see, like, what if, like, for instance, back then, Jordan or Nike wasn't like as big as like Adidas in them. What if we're seeing the evolution of like a new shoe company to, we never know, 10 years later takes over Nike, and just
You never know,
stuff
man.
like that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it
cool
could
to
happen.
see. So
I mean, like you said, like in 84,
exactly, we could be buying these shoes for $60, and then 10 years later, the price went up.
Yeah, I mean, in 84, Nike was competing with Converse, signed Mike, and
Converse. Yeah.
19 years later, they bought Converse. So you never know. It could happen with On. It could happen with Anta. Obviously they got a lot of work to do, but yeah, it could happen.
Yeah. Dang.
One thing I am excited about what Nike's doing this year is the Kobe Bryant brand relaunch.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm really excited about. I don't know how it's gonna work with the shoes releasing and all that kind of stuff, because how it's been in these last few years, but hopefully they make it to where everybody can cop a pair at a reasonable price.
Man, I hope so too. Which one, if any of them could come back, which ones would y'all want the most?
The most comfortable Kobe that I've ever played in was a Kobe 8s.
Okay, yeah.
Those are the most comfortable shoe I've ever played in by far. But I really want I really like Kobe 9s, Kobe 10s, and I have a pair of 4s, but I would really want a pair of Kobe 10s, if anything.
True. I don't even know.
Or the Grinches.
I remember when I got my Kobe's, it was just from like basically hand-me-downs. Like my teammates would give me their hand-me-down shoes. I'd be like, okay, I see why everyone loves these. They're super light. But I don't even remember what I was wearing. I know I was wearing Kobe's. I just don't remember what they were.
Those were great shoes. I remember you back in the day. You had
the orange ones.
Yeah, those were 8s.
Yeah, those were comfortable.
Yeah, so the 8's coming back this fall.
Yeah.
There's like all white. I guess they're saying the Venice Beach colors come back too.
Yes, those are so tough, bro.
Yeah, and I think too that's also in terms of like the Pro Trails or like making like the bringing the OGs back or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I think the 8 would be probably one of the cheaper ones to remake because it's like such a lightweight shoe. It's got the drop in like lunar sole, so it's real cushy.
Yeah.
So I hopefully there's a bunch of them. We'll see.
I have a question for you on that. I talked to our good mutual friend, Mr. Sneaker God Dez.
Yes.
I talked to him with all these remakes and stuff. Obviously, it's cool to see, like you get a shoe that you couldn't, probably get back then, blah, blah, blah. But like, how do you think it does with the value of the shoe? Like from the OG, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Does it decrease it? Does it increase it? Like, where does the value go for the OG shoe then?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, sometimes like, I think that it all depends in terms of like if it's actually going to last. So like,
Yeah.
Air Jordan 1 like originals, I'd say have gone up in value because of the popularity of the retros in recent years, but also like Air Jordan 1, it's a leather shoe with a stitched in rather than like glued sole or whatever, so they ain't going to fall apart. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all know, like living in Texas, all my original Kobe's that I was planning have fallen apart, man. Like the glue split and stuff like that. So, as much as I'd love to, shoot, I mean, I don't even know what stuff's going for now, but I mean, even if, $400, $500, $600 or whatever, if you're actually going to play in it and, with, you're probably playing in, either like a church or middle school, AC or whatever with their lack thereof, that like 3 games in, this might be
the end.
Yeah, you might have 4 shoes, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that, and it surprises me that with all the guys in the league wearing the old ones that they don't fall apart more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, like those gyms are like hella air conditioned and stuff like that, But yeah, I don't know. We'll see, And I think also it depends on how they make them, you know what I mean? Because like if it's as much I love vintage and stuff like that, if I can get something new out of the box that's just as good, and there's no stink to it, you know what I mean? Or no worries about it falling apart, then I'm with it. But we'll see.
What's your favorite Kobe?
I really like the 5 to play in. Like that was my, I don't know, junior or senior year of college. I guess, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, one of the two, but like, yeah, that was the one for me to play in. But I like the 9s a lot too. I like the 3s. I had the 1s. Trying to think, I had some ID 6s. Those fell apart at home court actually.
Man.
Yeah, that was right. That was right when all the NBA players were like getting the PEs and stuff, kind of like in the break, and I was like, oh shoot, a lot of these guys are probably too young to remember they had them on Nike ID back in the day. So if I wear them, maybe I'll turn some heads. And I did, but they fell apart pretty fast.
Damn.
Another durable shoe, the Kobe 11s. Those are really durable shoe too.
Yeah, Cat. The Phil Am run that I played in this morning.
Okay. Oh, you went to Phil Am?
Yeah, it was fun, man. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah,
I love that. Shout out Phil Am.
Man, awesome dudes. Yeah. One of the guys I was playing with, a younger guy, he had on the Sunset 11s.
Wow. They all of them got heat. When I pull up, I'm like, I'm gonna hide my PGs. Everyone's got heat they're playing, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, there's some stuff out there. Yeah.
Man. That's a fun group.
Yeah, it's really fun group. Great guys.
I never played up there.
It's super fundamental, and it's just good up and down. Good. It's a good energy basketball that you don't really get that much anymore, if that makes sense.
Where's it at?
It's
St.
like
Martin's Church.
Yeah, it's like
16th and Natchez. Like like the 7-Eleven on like 15th Street, like that kind of like cuts right through the middle of Austin.
Yeah.
So it's just north of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah, nice gym, and there's different like men's groups and stuff that play there pretty much every night of the week. Like I know I played in a Tuesday group there for years and stuff, and I know there's a Monday game. I think Des maybe plays in the Monday game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good gym.
I want to go play.
Yeah, big wooden backboards. I couldn't get anything to drop today, so I don't know. I must have done something bad, messed up my karma. But yeah, it was fun.
Now, you got to let us know when they have runs more like.
Yeah, follow their page, man. I'll send you their link to their page. They normally, you reach out to them, they're pretty consistent.
Super nice guys. Yeah, I think it's pretty much. I mean, I don't want to blow it up too much just because it ain't my game. Yeah. I think pretty much every Saturday they run, and yeah, super nice guys, and yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, that's how we met was basketball. I don't know if it was home court or Austin Oaks Church, but one of them. My first thing was, how the fuck is he making all these passes? Like you don't see people with like that type of IQ with like and sometimes I'd feel bad for him because his teammates would be the ones fucking it up. I'm like, it's that IQ was pretty smooth, and then obviously you're an easy person to talk to, like after the game or just whatever we did, and then your basketball knowledge was even. I was just like, yeah, this guy's cool.
Oh man, well I feel the same way. You know, you're pulling up from 40 feet. And I was like, oh man, I got to guard him out there. That's, you know, I should have stretched more ahead of time. And yeah, great reads too. But yeah, just I mean, like I said, love playing the game. Like even though like got cut growing up, like we had at least the Lansing area of Michigan for basketball was pretty good when I was growing up, I'd say. But like Okemos, like school in the suburbs I went to, man, we had some real players and a really good coach. So like just going to camps growing up and stuff like that, you know, things like shell defense, spacing, you know, different fundamentals, you know, like understanding.
I don't know. You got a lot of swagger in your game, man.
Oh yeah, well that's probably why I never made the team. But
like,
you
this
know,
guy's got too much on him.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was throwing passes to people that I thought were cutting that weren't cutting. So that's just a turnover.
I can already see it. Ian, chest pass. Stop going behind the back.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Yeah, once Jason Williams came in the league and.
No, imagine.
Yeah, I just you know, I kind of ran with that, but yeah, I mean, like, shoot, I mean, when you know my high school, like one of my buddies, Jonathan Jones, he led D1 in assist.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not even the best passer from my school.
I got an even more fun question for you. Are you a Pistons fan?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just more of a Players fan. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's why I try telling people that too, because it's like, but yeah, I had you want to tell them about I mean, their last draft, their draft pick. That's
Asher Thompson.
Yeah, how you feeling about him?
He's been tough. Like he's been killing in the summer league.
Yeah,
like literally been killing. Like they were literally bragging on him the other night, talking about how good he's gonna be. He just has to keep on working, basically. Like,
he looks nice.
I know. My dad was saying he was reading about him in the paper, and that it's like, you know, obviously they've got, you know, still Ivy there, Cade.
Yeah.
You know, like 8 big guys, you know, who, you know, were like top 10 picks.
Yeah.
And that it sounds like he's got a real good head on shoulders, which I've always heard about both those boys, like the whole time coming up, where like I said, he can just kind of get in where he fits in. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I haven't, you know, other than like the putback, dunk, and highlight, and, you know, like some of the whatchamacallit, some of the you know stats out there, I haven't seen him too much, but man, that half a basketball that his brother played against Scoot, man, I like him. He's got some nice
I'm excited for
like stride and pace to his game, you know.
Yeah.
That Rocket team, man.
I'm so young.
I'm praying, bro.
It's so young.
I just need vets to check them, and I feel like they'll be good. That's it.
I mean, yeah, they definitely have you know, I mean, the 2 off-season signings, you know, Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks, man, those are guys that are getting people's face, I think. I don't know. I mean, they're starting 5 and their second 5 are both gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially Dylan Brooks, the way he's kind of like,
he's character.
Yeah,
he's gonna bring that energy.
He's definitely gonna check some dudes, like most definitely. I don't think he's gonna take any bullshit in either. So
yeah,
because they're trying to win, man. They're a young team, even with they really don't have that much, you know, experience or anything like that. So they're just trying to get their feet wet and trying to win.
Yeah.
Well, and they got Ime there now, so there'll be a bunch of yelling and headbutting, and I think it'll be good. Like that's, you know, they got a ton of talent.
Yeah, I was telling Jemiah, I just hope the Texas teams in general do good, because it, like, obviously growing up back then, it was always Mavericks, Rockets, Spurs, always in that Western Conference hunt. Like, and then obviously this past year was the first time all 3 of them didn't make it since like 1980 or something like that.
Yeah, probably so.
Super crazy. Like, it's just so, like, I don't know, just very uncommon that some Texas teams aren't, you know, reaching that playoff spot. Especially, I mean, the Mavericks, that was crazy. They were like I want to say, like, got up to 4th, 6th place, and then just after they got Kyrie, just fell out of that.
Yeah, and the wild thing too is like Kai was playing pretty good when he was there. You know, like if
him and Luke at 40-40.
Yeah, and I'm not a big, like, you know, overanalyze the stats guy or whatever, but like when Kai was playing, he was doing his thing. Yeah. I mean, like who'd y'all like growing up? Like, who are your teams, your players?
Man, Steve Francis, Stephon Marbury, loved Manu because I was a lefty, and what he did with the ball, the Euro step, all that shit, I was just like, yo, like, this shit looks so awkward but so cool at the same time. Just a lot of small guys. Nick Van Exel, like, you know, the lefties, and
It was tough.
I had so many Starberries. I mean, they were $20.
Yeah, I bought like 5 pairs.
My mom said, "Have fun, cash out real quick." I was like, okay.
The matching Stephen Barry's leather to go with it, yeah.
And Nash. I just liked all the small, you know, guards that could just make something out of nothing, you know, because they definitely have it harder because they're smaller, but it just shows that creativity. Steve Francis, that was a fucking movie watching him.
Man, I'd still say if a Aladdin or a genie came down and said, "Hey, Ian, you can have anybody's game," I'd take Steve Francis.
Yeah.
Just because you got playground handles and like trampoline hops.
Yeah.
So like you're always gonna be able to embarrass somebody or have them on tilt. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Were you at home court the day he pulled up?
Bro, what?
Man, crazy.
Wait, what you mean?
Fuck, man. Yeah, so
Steve Francis pulled up to home court?
Yeah, he pulled up to home court. Yeah, I don't know if he like had some bad intel of like in terms of like their like being like, because I think he coaches or like recruits or something like that.
Okay. I would have cried, bro.
Dude, it was right before like the championship game and one of those all ball like money runs, and my team had made it, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like I must have been playing decent, like not anything great. I'm pretty much just standing in the corner in those games, and get attacked on switches, and just put up a fight, hold my own. But right before the game, I'm feeling pretty good, and then Francis walked in the gym, and I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
because that was one of my heroes growing up, and like playing ball in front of him. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we lost. I mean, I don't think I laid a total egg, but I didn't. I dapped him up, and I was like, oh man, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
You got some good plays in there though, right?
I don't think he was in there, man. I don't think you're gonna say, oh yeah, I remember him, man. He was making everybody ooh and ah.
Damn, was Dez there?
Yeah, Dez was there. I think Kevin Diggs took a picture with him.
Oh my god.
It's always when you're not there.
I know. It's like, hey, guess who pulled up today? LeBron. What the fuck? Like, where was I?
Yeah, I love.
Damn.
How about you? Who'd you like growing up?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, don't.
I'm not gonna flame you today, bro. You got it.
Just let me have it. All right. But my favorite player of all time, Carmelo Anthony. I also like Brandon Roy.
Yes.
I know that.
Penny Hardaway.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I like? Kobe, obviously. That's pretty much it on my point. Those are like the biggest guys I really kind of watched.
Big aggressive wings. I mean, I guess Penny
Yeah.
was like point forward type, but like, yeah, no, I like those guys too.
Especially Penny. That was a scary sight.
Bro, that dude's a monster, dude. The dude's a monster. Him and Shaq.
Is he in trouble at Memphis right now? Doesn't he got like
I think
little
a 3-game
suspension?
suspension. Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know
that's
the
not-
ins and
that's not
outs of
bad.
it. Yeah, it's too bad because like he's I've got a chance to interview him a couple times. Super nice guy. And I mean, yeah, like I still have like Penny posters in my garage. Like that was my guy too. But yeah, awesome dude, and like especially like even the stuff with the Wiseman, like man, he was looking out for somebody. And obviously, like rules have changed with NIL and stuff, but
Which thankfully they have. I feel like it's such a good benefit, and
I mean, it definitely is. I mean, I still feel it's funny. I think I was talking to my dad about it the other day, and it's like, and again, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. You know what I mean? Like I cover the space a bit, so like I'm a little bit adjacent to it, but it's like, for years, like coaches were getting paid hundreds of thousands. Like, I mean, that's exactly like Sonny Vaccaro, like who, helped bring Michael Jordan to Nike, who discovered Kobe Bryant and T-Mac for Adidas. Like his early job was, well, first he had like the Dapper Dan Basketball Classic. So it was like, basically like 13 years before McDonald's All-American existed, he'd fly in the best players from the whole country, and they played basically the best players from Pennsylvania.
damn.
Yeah, so like in doing that, he became friends with all the college coaches, and then he was trying to pitch like a sandal basketball shoe to Nike.
Sandal?
Yeah, I'd love to see the sample someday. Yeah.
Ugh.
And they were like, yeah, I don't know about that, but like we really like you. So he ends up like coming on, and he has the brilliant idea like, yo, like, because at that time, like the Big East and all that, was like where a lot of the juice was in terms of, NBA finals are on tape delay, but maybe CBS all Saturday is going to show, St. John's versus Georgetown.
Yeah.
So he's, getting these coaches deals where it's like, yeah, we'll pay you, you know, I don't know what the money would have been like then, but let's just say like $200K or whatever, to have your players and give you guys free shoes. They're like, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. You know
Coach
what I
is
mean?
like, I'm eating, and you know, my kids are just getting shoes. But
Yeah,
it's-
but I mean, at the same time too, you know, that's an era too where kids are going 4 years of college typically, you know,
Yeah.
unless they apply for hardship, you know, like Jordan did or Rex Chapman did, you know, to get drafted in the NBA. So they're getting a free education, free shoes. It just seemed like a good deal,
yeah,
you know. And like the coaches, you know, are getting huge salaries. Where now it's kind of flipped. And I mean, granted, like don't get me wrong, these coaches are still getting very
yeah.
handsome contracts or whatever.
You got
but,
some kids getting millions off this now.
well, and you know, the folks are kind of their pseudo agents and stuff like that. And I mean, shoot, like I wouldn't know how to handle that much money for a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's a weird spot where the players are empowered, which I think is great. The transfer portal essentially makes everybody playing as though they're playing on 1 year college contracts.
Yep.
And the coaches kind of have to operate a little bit more as like a GM.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is-
Wow, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. And like I said, I don't know all that stuff inside out. You know, I'm learning a little bit more about it, but
Basically, a little NBA.
Yeah.
Like honestly.
But, you know, I mean, at the same point, too, like, you know, there's a lot of people in the history of basketball who have transferred and taken off because of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know it can be a little bit of a red flag if it's like, oh, well, they went to like 4 schools in 4 years. Like, you know.
that one school got them on from that. You know.
Yeah, you never, I mean, shoot, you know.
Got to start somewhere.
Austin
yeah.
Reeves transferred, you know what I mean? He was at Wichita State, went to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, even like way, way before that, I'm trying to think of any good examples of like 80s or 90s guys who transferred that like took to the NBA after. Like I could give you a lot who transferred that didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a wild game right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched something recently. It was Austin Rivers. I wouldn't say it was a sneak diss, but it was definitely sounded like he was salty. He was talking about like you know how Bronny's getting an NL blah that his deal like you know his is like $7 million I think, and he's like
Valuation, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Respectfully, I don't know if he's getting that much.
Yeah.
Now, I love him, but yeah.
But he was like, I can't imagine like what it would have been like for me. Like I was the number 1 player in the country. Like Bronny isn't even, he's not even like a top 10 or
Established.
yeah. He's just getting this because he's Bron's kid. Like he's like, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but like I was number 1. You know Austin Rivers, like he's gonna say his shit. Like he's
Right.
like, I was number 1 in the fucking country. Like I was in the era where mixtapes were popping. You know, like
Weren't just given to anybody.
yeah, like he was like, I can only imagine what I would have. He was like, my net worth probably would have been 2 times what it is now if that was happening.
And his draft stock would have went like way higher.
Yeah,
Yeah, where'd he? I mean, I know that the Pelicans drafted him. All right, maybe they were still the Hornets then, but what was he like 8th or 9th pick or?
I don't even remember.
He was still lottery.
Man, that was so long ago.
I know.
I mean, I will say this: like Austin Rivers high school mixtape.
that was insane.
Yeah,
One of the best.
I really. Y'all ever watch his? Actually, that's a good example. Somebody transferred his brother, Jeremiah or Jeremy. He played for Georgetown and IU.
I did not.
Point guard, almost kind of like built like a little doughier, kind of like a Deron Williams, like in college.
Oh man, he was.
Man, he had some dimes. He was nice. His his
I
brother
should have said
was
Darren
sweet.
Williams when you said that earlier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, Austin Rivers. I mean, and well, especially too. That was the only person That was the only person of let's say a certain height that I ever saw high school mixtapes where they were scoring off the ball without the ball. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like backdoor cuts and stuff like that, and just like really like high IQ stuff. Like I don't know if his personality would have given him the Bronny level. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what.
I don't know.
most
Maybe it
of his-
would have. That shit talking. People love that now. I feel like with basketball influencers and all that stuff now, like
Yeah.
that's what gives them their clickbait is you see the title, fight at this, fight
Right.
at that, and you see millions of views.
And he could have doubled down on that, about being, son of an NBA player, goes
Yeah,
to Duke,
yeah.
has that attitude. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Who? Oh, I got a question for you. Who would you say inspired you to like basketball? Like, was it a family member? Was it an NBA player? Like, who got basketball in your blood, basically?
Oh, my cousin Ty for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
so my cousin Ty.
Older, younger?
Older, yeah. He's 4 years older than me. Actually, I just talked to him on the phone the other day. It was good to hear from him.
Okay.
But yeah, so he, pretty much him and then my buddy Tony Hassan, like probably like, kind of put that all on me for sure.
Okay.
Because yeah, I mean, like my dad played ball growing up, but like football and boxing were his sports.
Okay.
And baseball. Yeah, actually, that's because you guys like boxing, right?
We like UFC, boxing. I mean, we're more UFC, but we'll watch, the big fights. Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad boxed Golden Gloves in Grand Rapids. He met my mom at a boxing gym.
Oh shit.
And actually, the coolest part, well, I mean, I guess the coolest part is I met because otherwise I wouldn't be here. But that's where Floyd Mayweather Jr. when he was like 4 years old was like hitting the bag and stuff.
Wow.
Because him and Senior are from Grand Rapids. So
wow.
Yeah. So
damn.
small world, But yeah, so yeah, we definitely.
You never want to put the gloves on?
No, I mean, I got a speed bag in the garage. I pumped it back up. I need to hit it because, man, when you do that, paws on defense are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it just really changes your focus. I've never had like great hand-eye coordination. I'm like the type like if you throw me a football, like I'll throw my hand where I know it's gonna be rather than like look it in. Like I'm not gifted that way. But nah. wasn't for me.
That combat sports stuff is fun though. I've been taking up Muay Thai and it's really humbling. I was talking to the dude about it today. The guy I'm training with like competes pretty good and like he helps me out. Like he knows I'm learning, but he definitely like it's not like he's taking it easy on me at the same time. Like he's hitting me and shit. But
he putting the paws on.
Yeah, he definitely putting the paws. But like it's just it's like that humbling. Like in basketball, I feel dominant. Like I feel like okay, like this is my shit. But like when I go there, I'm just like okay,
you're in somebody else's.
Eat or get eaten. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, and I like it right now because it's like a challenge. Like, and it's definitely a mental thing with all that eye coordination and just where to have your body in at the right time to like land kicks or steeps and all that. Like, just it's definitely scary. I want to do it. I want to keep doing it. I told my girl, I said, I at least want to get like a smokers fight, which is like basically where they put the newbies in. They're all padded up, but how about that? I think that's also just watching too much UFC at the same time. But
yeah, I see that. Yeah, get somebody geeked up for it.
Yeah.
I was getting really excited to go on that octagon.
Yeah, man, we watched the fight last weekend. One of my favorite fighters was fighting Brandon Moreno. I've had the opportunity to meet him like 3 times now.
Cool dude.
Cool dude. Basically got into MMA. He's the first Mexican UFC champion, and he had that background. Fat kid. Mom put him in MMA. Became a badass out of that. But like if you meet him, like it's just like one of those guys you wouldn't expect to kick your ass. Like he's so fucking just super nice. Like he's into Funkos, Legos. Like people always just shower him with that stuff, and it sucked to see him lose. But just man, that sport in general is just. I feel like it's taken off more, especially if they have. I don't know if you've been seeing Zuckerberg and Musk.
Yeah, man. I hope that happens. I'm here for that. That get me into watching it,
bro.
That's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think would take it?
Well, Mark, bro.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus.
Bro, he's training with Izzy and Alex Volkanovski now, and he looks like he belongs. Like he looks like he's regular. Like looks like he knows what he's doing type shit. Like
Elon hasn't shown us nothing.
Yeah, but you never know. Elon can just program something in his body, and all of a sudden you're like, "Holy shit, where did this 8-pack come from?"
make a chip or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if they did the fight, I feel like the drug testing stuff would be crazy.
Yeah.
Those cats have all the money and resources in the world, and I mean, shoot, I know. I mean,
I know Dana wants that. The owner, for UFC, like. He's already got shirts on the UFC website that says Zuck versus Musk. Like, and it's not even like 100. It's obviously good advertising and stuff, but like he knows like that's gonna get him a bag. Like,
oh yeah.
Like you got, I think of it. Facebook could stream it on their platform. Twitter could stream it on their platform, and now we got Threads too. Like everyone can stream it on their platform and just bring that revenue to get the attention of this fight. Like it could. Who knows? We could see Khabib versus McGregor again. Like
that was a great idea though. Like to bring 2 of the richest dudes in the world.
Well, it was like they reached out to them. That's the crazy thing. Like it's like what I was telling you. Like they basically wanted like to be like what's it like to be a UFC fighter for a day type shit. Like they have the money, so it's like
why not?
Hey, why not? Let's do it.
I mean, y'all think that Trump would try to take on whoever won?
That would be wild.
I could just see with all the egos and stuff. I mean, he's old, but he's a big guy. Not that I'm, rooting for him winning the fights or whatever, but
he was actually at the last fight.
In Vegas, yeah.
And we were like, everyone was like, I thought he was in jail. I was like, no, bro, he turning up. He turning up, bro. But nah, that stuff's fun. I did not know your dad was a boxer. That's awesome.
Because I'm the opposite. Like, I mean, granted, I played like football growing up and stuff, or like cross combat sports. But man, anytime I catch like a stray elbow in basketball, or I'm always just like, all right, yeah. Remember next time you think you want to fight somebody, like that hurt pretty bad, and that wasn't even on purpose, So
it sucks being the little guy, man. You'll never understand that.
Yeah, I was always big. I was always big.
I wish, man.
It's not what it's all cracked up to be.
It's funny though, because when I like some of the games that I play in, like I'm actually like a big guard, and it's so easy to be like, yo, like get your ass in the paint, bully them, or stuff like that. And then when you're actually the one doing it, it's like, yo, this kind of sucks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Where like yo, I've got like 3 inches and like 40 pounds on this person. Like even if I'm in pain, why am I fading away?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's just like you don't. Yeah, like you said, it ain't all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're expected so much. You have so much expectation of what you're supposed to be doing instead of just playing your game.
Right.
Well, in my defense, you were a professional basketball player, so I'm expecting a lot out of you.
I mean, yeah. But like, people get mad at me for not doing certain things that they think I should do, but it's more like reading what's happening in the game.
Right. That makes sense.
Not necessarily what I should do. It's more like what needs to be done.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if we all did what we should do, we'd be moving without the ball every minute, and every play would end with a right hand uncontested layup, But
which I do
how
feel
it
like
is,
as I've grown, like that has been like easier for me with basketball. Like I'm saying, like okay, I'm just gonna backdoor, I'm just gonna flare, I'm gonna fade. Wow, I'm open. Like it's as I'm getting older, the IQ is just simple now. Like it's nothing like what I had to do back then, like tween for no reason and staying in the same spot. It's just like one dribble, pull.
Because you got to make it. Now it's simple. Basketball is so simple.
I was like, okay, maybe I can keep playing till I'm 50, 60. Like if I keep just being simple. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely play with guys that are that age. Yeah. Well, I wonder the flip side, like with fighting, like with the Muay Thai and stuff like that, if it'll be the same thing, because even for me, like if I'm playing like 1-on-1 versus 5s, it's easier for me to see the controlled chaos of 10 people on the court versus like, all right, I know this person's right in front of me and I should just be reading their feet or I should be going into them or whatever, but you can kind of overthink the simple stuff.
Exactly.
Where it made me think, I was like, man, for people that are like really boxing or really doing UFC, like fuck. Like that's a lot of, you're playing King of the Court, you miss a jump or whatever. All right, next. Yeah, but like
you step wrong or miss one swing.
Sheesh,
bye.
Yeah, that's something else.
Have fun trending from getting knocked out.
Right.
Oh man, that's scary. Cause I be seeing people in that gym and I hear them when they get kicked and all that. I'm just like, yeah, that shit hurts. Like even if we're holding the pads and stuff, I'm like, I still feel that shit. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, man, thank God I'm holding these pads though.
Has it helped your hoop game at all, you think?
Conditioning wise,
yeah, I bet for
sure. Cause I try to be a psycho and pull up in there with like a long sleeve sweats to really get a burn, and that's just someone just charging at you the whole time, you trying to defend yourself the whole time, like definitely does help with the conditioning part. And I don't know, I definitely feel like I've got a little like more defined, I'd feel like, with just all the sweating and like what we do and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I could go like rounds.
Yeah, no, I bet.
Especially in basketball now, like it feels like more, like I don't feel as drained as I used to, I'd say, for sure. But most of the time too, I do have a good time before I play basketball, so maybe that hurts me too.
Yeah, those hangover games are they're different. Well, it's funny because I don't know, did y'all hear when Deron Williams was on All the Smoke?
Yeah, I heard a little bit of it, but not the. I think he's from Dallas too.
Yeah, he's from Dallas
because he's got his team, his select team up there.
Yeah, I had a friend of a friend who played against him in high school. I was like, it's
really,
really good. Yeah, but he grew up wrestling. And it's funny that, like, to me,
I could tell.
I can kind of see that in his crossover. Like, it has the same snappiness as like
It's like
you know, a double leg or single leg
Yeah.
takedown. Like it's
and, yeah.
he's throwing his body and his weight. There's an aggressiveness to it that is different than, you know, even like an Iverson crossover or Marbury crossover.
It's more power than it is finesse.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Because Iverson crossover, he's gonna hit you with a little shimmy right
Yeah.
before he hits that crossover.
Man,
Before-
now I'm trying to think of that Darren Williams crossover.
They just showed a highlight of him like 2 days ago.
Yeah, literally snapping bro's ankle and just pulling up.
And then just like a fucking push cross. to a
Yeah.
fucking dunk. Like that shit was crazy. Like how athletic he was, and then like how crafty and creative he is.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. Like you really don't see those kind of point guards anymore in terms of
Like the physicality, you say? Yeah.
physicality. The you could say that Darren Williams was a pretty
Good defender.
pretty good
Yeah.
defender. He had like that grit about him, more like not about just getting buckets. It was more like I'm here for the team.
Yeah. Like he definitely took pride in like his defense, but would also drop 30 on you.
Yeah,
At the yeah.
because he was talking shit.
Yeah.
He gonna talk his shit.
I don't know if y'all remember that game when he was with the Nets when Winland Sanity was going on, and yeah, he gave Jeremy the business.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's no shots at Jeremy. I mean, both those guys are a million times better than me, but it's like it was like right in the height of all that, and it was like you could tell when he wanted to turn it on, he could still really turn it on.
Yeah, Darren Williams was a monster. I miss those guys playing in the league. Like,
You know who was scary too? Mike Bibby's big ass.
oh yeah,
Bro, we used to see him because we'd be in the same tournaments as his son. And this was like when he was trending for looking. I mean, he still looks yoked as
Yeah, he's
shit.
still pretty.
Like I'm like
steady.
he's one like flex away from his shirt just popping off. Like he looked big as shit. But he was something to watch. I always, because obviously you know that conspiracy or shit, it might not even be a conspiracy with the Lakers and Kings series of like how the Kings got robbed basically. Like who would have known like what would have happened if the Kings advanced to the finals?
Yeah, it would have been different. I mean, it's actually funny that buddy Jonathan, I remember I was at his house, it was like 7th or 8th, it must have been 8th grade, and we are like working on some like, I don't know, social studies or language arts project, didn't get any of it done. And, you know, like I was like, you know, I probably rode my bike there and I was like not home, and then my mom like came over and she's all like mad because, you know, like kid's been gone for too long. We're just watching that game.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, that was a wild one.
Mike Bibby back in the day.
That Kings team
Yeah,
Peja Stojakovic was a sniper, bro.
Yeah,
His son, I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
that. His son's getting a lot of hype.
Is he going to Oregon or where did he end up?
I know he took a visit to UT. Yeah, he has like Oregon, USC, all of them. Who knows? What if they're just trying to bring everyone's kids to USC and just go crazy?
I mean, that'd be great spacing. That would help Brownie out a lot to have somebody else out there.
Yeah, he's nice though.
Because they got that point guard that was good in the McDonald's game, right? He's kind of like a big...
Yeah. I can't think of his name off the dome right now.
Same.
But how do you feel with basketball is evolving in a good way or a bad way? Do you feel like it's more like kind of, you know, prima donnas or, you know?
That's a good question. What do you think? I'll let you go first.
I feel like there's a lot more entitlement.
Yeah.
I think that's in everything, not just basketball. You
Yeah.
know, and I don't know if that's just like me being older now because I might have been on the same shit when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's not. There's a lot more dudes that just like go out there and just like. I mean, it's not something. It's not bad, but like, you
Yeah.
should always-
Like they deserve it at the
yeah,
same
like,
time.
they go out there and say like, I'm the shit. Like, obviously, you should always think that about
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I mean, doing a little bit too much at the same time is kind of like,
Yeah.
all right, man, like, chill out.
But it's like at the same time, I guess we can't knock them down for wanting to value their worth at
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah, I mean,
You know-
I'm not taking that away from them. I'm just saying, like, I mean, it was more humble. There was like a lot more humble players like back in the day, because like came from nothing to now I'm about to be a fucking multi-millionaire in the league.
Yeah. And I'm 19,
Yeah,
20.
Because like they're just more humble.
Yeah.
And I think I do think that, if everything, say, like, trickles down, yeah, they definitely need to find something with, I'd say, whether it's like with the CBA or whatever else, to ensure that there's a veteran on each roster. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, I just, you know, you can't have a 26-year-old being the vet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, like, you know, like Kevin Willis was on a team that was like 42.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He got the ship out of it.
And, you know, all those guys that we grew up on, whether they had good vets, bad vets, or indifferent vets, shaped them. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
all of them. Like, whether it was just like, yo, like, where to buy a suit. Like, and, you know, and I'm cool with the dress code and, you know, all that stuff. But, like, all the things about, or even, like, in today's age, like, yo, like, you, like Draymond was saying, like, you probably don't need to, like, do every ride Uber Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna add up fast. So, and then, obviously, the stuff on the court. Because, I mean, that was, like, even, like, the flip side for me, like, somebody who, like, didn't play on my high school basketball team, going to the gym and playing with older guys, they are going to tell you to cut, to move without the ball, to talk on defense.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I don't, like, y'all know, what's his face? Frank Martin, is that his name? The guy who coached at Kansas State. I think he's South Carolina now.
I got to see his face.
I'm trying to think of, like, he was at K-State when they had, like, Jacob Pullen. He's like kind of like lighter skin, like Cuban dude, like from Miami, but like he looks like a drill sergeant.
Okay.
Like he's super intense. And he had this great quote. It was probably like 10 years ago. But, you know, someone's like, oh, you know, do you think kids have changed, you know, and stuff like that? Because he's been coaching a while. And he's like, kids haven't changed. Parents have changed. Or adults have changed. You know what I mean? And just kind of like, you know, the idea of, you know, I don't either want to be everybody's friend, you know what I mean? Or like, or whatever else. So like, and I guess if I like threw that back to me, because obviously I'm not like a parent yet. And also too, I don't want to be like, I don't know, super stern or like a dickhead or whatever. But I'm sure you guys go through the same thing, even like playing ball, where it's like, I mean, shoot, I had it a few weeks ago at the rec where I was like, I felt like a dickhead, but I had to say like, yo, like you have to guard your man. Like you can't just decide to not or to press somebody full court because
but at least that's just in basketball. Like that's not
exactly.
It's nothing personal.
But yeah, no, for sure. And I was just like, hey man, I ain't trying to be an asshole, but it's like we're literally losing because of this. All of us are losing together. You know what I mean?
They're literally saying cook you right now. Like,
well, it's not even that. It's just like even if that is not your approach to responsibility. Like, this is a team thing. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, you know, like, everyone's
got to hold their weight.
We're all suffering for it. You know, like, there's a little difference of, you know, and it was like, well, why aren't you getting mad at the guy who's missing every layup? I go, well, yeah, I'm not super stoked about that either, but it's like, I at least know he's trying.
Yeah.
His best. And, you know, like
there's a difference. He's trying, you're
right. And then again, it's on us to be like, oh, then you just don't pass to him, even if he's open under left. And and I've been that guy. Don't pass him the ball because I'm the 10th best player on the court out of 10 and a big gap between 9 and 10. But like, I think it's always tough to like tell people what to do, you know, like out of love, but like so that it's heard, you know what I mean? And I think that like all the way up in terms of hoops, you know, and I'm sure you've seen it more playing higher levels and stuff like that, where it's like, where is the authority and like how
where's like the boundary type?
Yeah. And like also just like where does, because I mean, we all deal with like, you know, who do you listen to and who do you tune out? You know what I mean? Whether that's personal, professional, or whatever else. And like some of that's age, some of that's experience, some of that's wisdom. It's probably weird with basketball right now because it's like, you know, that's why they, you know, like I'm not saying like there's a lot of reasons to not like Bobby Knight, you know what I mean? But like he was always like, I'm never going to coach in the NBA because the players make more than the coaches. And so like they're not going to listen to them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which like, I don't know. I mean, yeah. And again, I'm not saying that's like right or wrong. I mean, I definitely think NBA players should make more than NBA coaches.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But like at every level, like
82
you said,
games, 84, 82, one of those that they play a season.
I met Bob Knight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I played him. I had like a little, it was like an open run. Like, remember when I did that?
Oh, yeah.
Why I left.
He'd throw a chair at you?
Wait, what?
That's what he's famous for.
He didn't throw no chair. But I went to an open run. I was like, this was probably like 3 years ago. This was like right before my junior year of college. And I went to an open run because my prep school, I was in Dallas working on my prep school coach just to get ready for my junior season. And one day he just told me, he's like, hey, you want to go to a run? Because one of my players is not going to be able to make it. So I was like, cool. So it was him. I forgot his name. Julius Marble.
Okay.
Julius Marble was there. Who was that? I forgot his name. The point guard for Oral Roberts that just transferred.
The small? Is he small? I can't think of his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was there. And there was like a couple other like high school kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just playing, and I played pretty good that day. And like he was telling me, he's like, he was asking me what school I went to and all that kind of stuff. He's like, man, maybe you should transfer, to a bigger school, and maybe get your notoriety up. And I was like, well, I never really thought about that, because at the school I was at, I was kind of like already kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I had the keys to the bus,
Yeah, definitely.
Like, yeah, because I was that guy, and I didn't want to go somewhere where I was not going to get no PT and just and ride the bench when I could be playing at this other college and just getting my stats up.
Yeah, which will get you that.
Yeah, give me an opportunity if when I go to the next level, then I actually have some legit film. But at the same time, like I was thinking, I go to a small school, so you don't like the big time teams are not going to like respect me in terms of like the competition I was playing against. And he was telling me just like, I hope you get into another school and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, like I'm down for that.
Yeah.
That's tight. I mean, I think too that like that also shows that obviously all this stuff is complicated, because nobody would be like, oh yeah, Bob Knight's saying like transfer schools. Like you would be like the most anti-transfer. Or like when I think about like, talk about him again, but like my buddy Jonathan, in this case for a lot of people, but it's like, he played, I mean, shoot, all these guys, whether it's their high school, and like people didn't really transfer high schools unless they were doing like the prep school thing, you know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, like it started happening some, but like even like your AAU team, like it's a business decision.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because like for him, he was the third best player in the state, like ranking wise, like of Michigan. And he was a point guard, and 1 and 2 were point guards too. So if he's on the AAU team with all the best players in Michigan,
that makes sense.
That's,
that makes sense.
And especially when, basketball was a little bit more cookie cutter in terms of like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like positioning and stuff like that. And actually, ironically too, like they were all like very like lead guards. I mean, like Jonathan could have played it too. Like he could have played whatever. He's great.
Was he taller-ish?
Nah, that's the thing. He was probably, I mean, he's a little bit taller than me.
Yeah.
But like played way taller because he was lengthier, he was athletic, and stuff like that. But it's like, whether, I mean, shoot, my buddy, you ever play with my buddy Jordan? Hallenstein, he's like the PR director for the Spurs.
I gotta see I gotta see faces.
Yeah, awesome guy.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he hurt his knee again, so he might be done hooping for a little bit, but really good guy.
Smaller?
He's probably 6'1", skinny. Yeah. Yeah. But actually kind of plays like Penny, if you ask me.
Okay.
But anywho, like he had the same things, transferred to a bigger high school so that he could play with, like a coach he liked and his friends, but like, go to a certain, AU program because, you want to get time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or just that, or even the flip side. An AU program says, sorry, we got somebody else ain't traveling on this tournament. You know what I mean? And it's like, so if at, 14, 15, 16, 17, so on. I mean,
decisions.
Shoot, now you got seniors in high school who are 26, you know what I mean? Or, whatever else. Which, is, hey, things could be worse, you know what I mean? But like,
definitely.
If you were making business decisions in terms of your future that young, like, then why should anybody be mad if someone's getting, broke off with a NIL deal or like whatever else, you know what I mean? Because I mean, I always thought the flip side, like it sucks if you're like, I definitely, being at Michigan State, like obviously is just a student, not a student athlete, but all types of people came through, who were super heralded recruits, and, maybe their game didn't translate to the NBA, nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? Like at least financially,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, they can do camps or, Izzo or Ishbia, or other people in the program or proximity to that network, can get them gigs. But it's like, yeah, I'm sure to the Austin Rivers point, they're like, yeah, man, if I'd have had, you know, I mean, shoot, I mean, what some of these cats are making in NIL is more than people make their whole career.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like in terms of like a regular job.
They don't even got the logo man on their jersey. This is straight.
So I mean,
in college.
Yeah, I just from what I hear, where it gets murky is when kind of parents start throwing out numbers and stuff like that, or players or whoever else, and there's just not really any knowledge or know-how, which I can't necessarily hate, because if I was them, it's my kid. I'm trying to get everything I can, you know what I mean? But
everything you think your kid deserves, like yeah, exactly.
Right, but like to the same, you know, and hopefully things are better now and more transparent in terms of like financial managers or stuff like that. But it's like if you know, if I love my parents, but if I broke my ankle, I ain't going to them. You know, I'm going to the doctor. You know, like
exactly.
And it can kind of be the same thing in terms of, you know, signing deals and stuff like that, which I think has mostly gotten better. But like obviously NIL just like exploded everything.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, kudos to the NCAA. That was pretty slick to be like, yeah, all right, y'all can get paid. Like we ain't finna do any of it, but yeah, figure this out for yourselves. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
If only we got that when we were in college.
I mean, we were at a small NAI. I don't know, but but I got one last question before we wrap it up. Well, it kind of makes two. How do you feel with the NBA now giving, what is it, text for flops?
Ooh.
Like they're trying to start that. They were starting it in the summer league right now. Do you think that is going to benefit the game in a good way or a bad way?
No, you got to take actual charges and actually got to play defense. You can't just act like you got fouled.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about like flops, you think about charges.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony is that like Duke was kind of that charge-centric school.
Yeah.
But I felt like they were actually taking them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like obviously, and like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you could. You couldn't
They're
get
testing the waters right now.
Yeah, man. I don't think you could give me an NIL deal with anybody paying enough money to have me out there taking charges, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, just getting ran over like that. But yeah, I'm here for it. I've never been a fan of flopping. Like, it just
hurts the game.
Yeah, same here. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know. I got a sense of humor. Like, I like watching movies. You know, I like acting. You know, in terms of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in terms and I also definitely do understand like there are levels to like manipulating or controlling the game. You know what I mean? Like, so like I do see like, yo, if you're super duper high IQ and like, you know, stuff like that, you know, man, you know, it's less about, hey, just making this guy go left to if I get him in foul trouble, or I know once he gets mad at the ref, he gets mad at himself, gets mad at his teammates, like it all goes there. Like, I do respect that, but nah, some people think just the charge should be out of the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I heard Ryan Russillo say that, and I'm not really mad at that because it's I mean we all know, even just playing pickup, like whether you're playing with people who are real good, real bad, or somewhere in between, like if two bodies are up in the air and, you know, nobody knows where they're going to land, that's probably the best chance to get hurt, you know, in a lot of ways.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, especially with like the game being so, you know, 4 or 5 out and stuff like that, anything do I think incentivize people going to the rim. And I mean, even shoot too. I mean, in this, you know, it was interesting, like, but, you know, like even watching Summer League, like you could tell there's some people that are like, yo, I want to get Vic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, all right, he bleeds too. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, or whatever else. But I'm sure there's also a bit of like, all these guys grew up with a phone their whole time. And like, even if like, yo, you get boomed down once, like, you know, I would guess less now than ever. You know what I mean? That, I mean, shoot, who was it? Like Yuta Watanabe, when he was with the Raptors, who got him real good? Remember that?
Oh, it was a baseline dunk.
Yeah.
And he did step out of bounds. I'm trying to think.
I don't know if it was like Miles Bridges or was it Edwards?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. They were showing that replay. They're like, damn, ref really ruined bro's career. Because if you see the replay, Ant-Man's foot is actually out of bounds.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
And I love Ant, but I love Yuta, but it's like Yuta has a great career. And it's like and granted, like he was on a different team. He was less known or whatever, but like, yo, somebody gets dunked on every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's how you know you're in the top league.
Yeah. I reached and got this shit shaken out of me today. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I guess if somebody got that on camera, I probably wouldn't be like super stoked about it. But it's like 100 things happen every day. But I say that all to say is there's so many fewer players for a variety of reasons, both physical and I'd say mental, that are like true rim protectors.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That it's like, man, the more you can maybe even clear out that lane so there's not even a block charge conversation and just have people dunking, like, is an entertainment property that's good, you know? So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, do y'all think that they should have text for flops?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Because I think, like, especially when the finals with Jokic and I think it was and Bam.
Yeah.
They were trying to, they were going at each other.
Yeah, and when Jokic was going to Zeller pretty hard too, and
Zeller was in the finals. Crazy.
Yeah, man, he was. Yeah,
he was though. That's the crazy. Like, I feel like he really brought his stock up from that.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's an interesting thing too, where like obviously those guys were physical and getting after it, but like and not on some conspiracy stuff. Like I'm not terribly mad at stars getting calls, but like there are a few times where like, I don't know, maybe call a flagrant one on like Jokic really getting into Zeller like that, or Bam, or whoever, or Jimmy getting into somebody.
I forgot what rookie I heard that from. They were like, I don't even think it was NBA. I think it was NFL. They were like, year one is always hell because you're not getting no respect. You're not getting no calls. Year two, you get your name out there, you're solid. But when you're these vets like that are like a Braun or something like that, like this is your ball. Like, this is your game.
Yeah, I guess that's why everybody thought it was so egregious when he didn't get that call against Boston.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man. That was wild.
Mad. I thought it was like the maddest.
All I know is that's everyone's goat, and if I ever saw my goat on his knees crying like that,
I don't think he wasn't crying. He was just so frustrated, bro.
Yeah, not actually crying, but just like complaining.
He was.
Like,
he was appalled. Yeah.
I mean,
that's a regular season game too, I think.
Yeah, it was a national TV game though. Like, and I think also when both those teams were maybe on the verge of some sort of runs, like, you know what I mean? Or like it was a meaningful regular season game, I suppose. You know
Boston
what I mean?
Lakers tradition.
All that stuff.
Makes sense, yeah.
I don't think it was like too bad, but I mean, obviously, he shouldn't have done all that, but like,
he had a tantrum for sure.
There was a lot of passion.
Yeah,
there was a lot of passion in that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, I think anybody that was like really into the game is gonna just like show a lot of that emotion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I mean, should there be how does that tech for flop equate to like if you like are like laying down because you got like hit in the face or something like that, and then they re-show the video and it's like there's no you know what I mean?
I think they're doing replays with that too.
Interesting.
So, and I know coaches will now get like if their challenge is like successful, they still get to keep, which I think is good.
I like that, yeah.
And then another one with it is the inbounds. Like, as soon as you score, or like say if it goes out of bounds, you don't give it to the ref, you just throw it in. It's kind of like open gym play type.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Because I know overseas does that. That's how they play ball. Like, the ref, as soon as it goes out of bounds, the player can just go there, pass it in, play in. That's it. That would make the game way more faster, and I'm sure we'd see a bunch of highlights and a bunch of guys slipping.
Well, and it's funny. That's because I lost in the Austin Oaks League, I lost the assist title in the game I was playing. Stewart got it from me. I was playing against him, and Stewart's great. I'm not mad at him, but I was mad at the ref because they were holding the ball on a side out. I was like, no, this is where I make my money. You know what I mean? Like, this is, hand me that real quick. Like, I'm going to look that way. I'm going to hit the guy right under the hoop.
We should not be waiting for the other team to set up.
Yeah,
I hate
exactly.
That. I hate that.
So I like that in terms of the NBA, in terms of like,
keeps everyone alert.
Yeah. Real high IQ guys like Jokic, Draymond, or LeBron or whatever. Like, especially I think now that the good thing about the game being younger is at least it's faster.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody's like walking the ball up the court like that or stuff like that. So hopefully people see the value in terms of like, always having your eyes up or always being ready. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm here for that. And I think that any way you can speed the game up is good because attention spans aren't getting any longer, and
Exactly.
Well, I do think, some of the review stuff is good. I still remember the game when the game with the Aiden Oop. You remember that?
The who?
The alley oop to Aiden that Crowder threw in the playoffs. Like basically, you remember that? It was like last minute.
Was
or
it
last
with Boston?
second.
I know
With
what you're
Suns,
talking
yeah,
about.
and
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, in like that game because I remember
Oh yeah. Wasn't it the finals? Was that not the finals, or that was just a regular season game?
Finals or conference finals?
I think it was a conference finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember being back home and I was watching that game and like obviously it was a great finish, but like I think I was like watching with my mom who doesn't really watch a lot of NBA and like the last 2 minutes of time were like 20 minutes. Like,
Yes.
everything
yes.
was getting reviewed, in terms of, out of bounds stuff, like ball, maybe a touch campaign, maybe it didn't, you know what I mean? And like, I'm all for getting it right, but like, I do think, whether they do, things to speed it up, like, if you get fouled on a 2, you have one free throw worth 2 points, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or fouled
Yeah.
on 3, one, one worth 3 or whatever. I'm
Who
open.
knows? What if we get a 4-pointer?
They were talking about that.
That'd be. I mean,
yeah?
everyone's pulling up from that far. That'd be.
They already been talking about
But
that.
then, are we ruining the game? Are we ruining the mechanics of kids when they start because they're going to be trying to shoot everything from half court instead of fucking?
Shit, everybody's trying to be like Steph Curry now. So like,
Yeah, I guess, the irony of that is if you had a 4-point line, whether it's like a straight line or an arc,
Yeah.
and if you have like shooters, I was, at the All-Star game when, Dame's literally shooting from behind half court and stuff like that. Not that I think that's going to happen a lot, but it's like,
Off the dribbles.
yeah,
Crazy.
like one of the reasons that I think Zion is so good is because of today's space, and he's such like a glitch in the matrix where he gets the ball on the elbow, there's nobody waiting for him in that paint, and it's one dribble, boom, into him or whatever.
Yep.
So if you had a 4-point line,
that creates so
I mean,
that'd be crazy.
that maybe makes like a Cam Whitmore like, okay, I'm on the 3-point line and I have all this space and it's 1 or 2 dribbles,
Yeah.
body. So like it would, it changed the geometry of the court.
Yeah. We're really gonna. I promise. I don't know when it's gonna happen, guys, but we're gonna see games where they hit the 200s,
Oh yeah,
and it's gonna be insane.
I think we're approaching maybe like the 40-year anniversary of the highest game ever. It was like Denver versus Detroit, like Isaiah Thomas, like Kiki Vandeweghe days.
Okay.
It was like a triple or quadruple overtime. It was like 180 something, and I think there were like 3 3-pointers attempted.
Damn.
Yeah. So,
Man.
but yeah, no, I think we'll get to 200. Yeah,
Okay.
and I'd rather have. I mean, I remember I played at like Zaragoza with like Twin and Cam and some of those guys not too long ago on Sunday, one of the Sunday games, and it was a lot of fun. But it was all ones, short court. Man, totally changed the geometry and
Yeah,
the shape
it
of
does.
it, and then you're just
It's like every bucket matters.
yeah, you're just thinking like, oh, I'm just pound the paint, or whatever, and get it, and then suddenly
It's still the same. It's still time.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm here. I guess I'm here for. Maybe next time we all play, we'll have to
Yeah.
that red line at Austin Oaks, make that the 4-point line.
Yeah,
the last game, see how it goes.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Okay. This can be your last question. Who's your GOAT?
I mean, I think Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time.
So it's Jordan over Braun for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's It's funny. I was thinking about that on the way over here because
You knew it was gonna come.
yeah, I mean, I always
gonna
go.
come.
Right? Yeah. It's funny because like playing in, I just look at it like playing in certain games, like just as like obviously pickup is not the NBA, but it's like peak Michael Jordan. If he had the best team or the worst team, was just gonna say fucking I'm gonna score and like get
Yeah.
this done, whether they won or not.
Yeah.
Where obviously as LeBron, because his IQ so high, I do think it makes it tough to play with certain types of players, where stuff work out. And I don't know that he necessarily has. I mean, shoot, I know just on a billion levels lower, I don't have it where it's just like, okay, somehow I'm the biggest or best guy here. Like, I gotta just shoot every shot. I just ain't me, and that's for sure not him. You know what I mean?
It sucks for him too because it's like he will make the right play out of it, but it's gonna
Always.
bite him.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's gonna bite him because that was not what MJ would have done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is unfair. Although the flip side, and it's pretty unfair, but like I do wonder at the same time if you gave, I guess it'd be more fair like if you gave obviously Bron like early mid 80s, like, you know, pre-Scotty Bulls teams versus say like the you know, Washington, you know, Wizards, you know, that Jordan played with. But it's like I kind of feel like if you go down the roster, like, and granted obviously this is 38, 39, 40-year-old MJ versus like 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old Bron, those Washington rosters, talent-wise and the way they're built, were not that different from those Cleveland rosters.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and obviously it's different where it's like, I mean, Mike played all 82 games, you know what I mean? Most of those years, or one year he got hurt. But like, you know, obviously he played all 82 the last 3 years of the three-peat and stuff like that. But it's like, there just is a level of like playing back-to-backs on 40-year-old knees, you know what I mean? And what you can do.
Because there's so much rest in the NBA now. Like, they could have a week off and load management or, you know, anything like that. Like, that era was just different with Mike. Like, everyone's playing all their games just straight to it.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I think I don't really know what LeBron could do, and that's unfair to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'd still probably put him 2. But you know, there are people, you know, my dad's there, you know, well, what about Kareem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, his resume is insane.
It is.
You know what I mean? He wasn't as fun to watch per se as, you know, Bron or Mike. I don't know who's your guys' go. I mean, my favorite obviously Jason Williams. Like, if I had to pay to see him, but I'm still seeing like Jay Will or Skip Tumalu or, you know, somebody fun.
I really don't know. And I do want to bring up too, I didn't get to put in the players. I thought of it, made me mad. Gilbert Arenas was for sure one.
Oh yeah, love Gil.
Oh my gosh.
Great pod too.
Yes. Man, that I feel like if he was my friend, he would make me cry. But like him and who's it, Nick Young?
Yeah,
that shit is so funny. But
bro, they're hilarious, bro.
So,
but he keeps it a buck.
He keeps it a buck, and that's what the Quinn Richardson their podcast.
Yeah, Knuckleheads. Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully we can get on a level like that. You know, just keep going at it, talking to great people like you and all that fun stuff.
Oh, no, man. I like you guys are honest, man. I was listening to the episode about, you know, the 6th Street shenanigans and stuff like that, man. I mean, people want that because everything's pretty, you know, I don't know. You know, we all obviously got to be politically correct sometimes. You know what I mean? We ain't trying to mess up any of our stuff. But, like, I do think that provides the opportunity for that stuff to cut through.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I mean, thank you for your time. I'm really excited for this episode so people can hear your story and just your basketball knowledge and all the cool shit you've got to do in your life, man.
Oh, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, anytime. I'm always down.
Yeah, we definitely need to run this back because I didn't even realize this is the longest episode.
Oh my man, I
love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Next time we got to get into the music, all that stuff because you got a lot I can see.
Yeah, you got a lot of experiences.
So
a lot of experiences.
Yeah, but again, bro, thanks again for joining today's episode. We hope to have you back. You know, hopefully we can get in your schedule.
Let's make it happen. Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, but everyone, you want to give any shout outs to any of your people, all that fun stuff?
Oh, I mean, sure. Yeah, whatever. No, just, obviously Boardroom's where I work, so check that out. Love my wife, love my mom, love my sister, my dad.
Shout out KD.
Yeah, KD, obviously. Anybody playing basketball, having fun with it. You know, that's what it's all about. That's my favorite thing in the world.
I love it. Well, again, thank you guys for joining episode 17 of the Rodcast. We'll be back at it like a crack at it next week. Again, thank you, Mr. Ian. You were great.
I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
We'll get it.